Happy Monday. Welcome to our Monday night Facebook Live. Thank you for coming out and joining me this evening. My name is Laura Betts, and tonight's topic is our second in our November Thankfulness series, and we're specifically going to be talking about oxygen and our immune system tonight. So thank you again. We do Facebook Lives every Monday at 6 o'clock. And this is a great opportunity to get some information and also ask our oxygen experts questions real time in the chat. So great opportunity to interface with us. And we look forward to seeing you here. Again, we do this every Monday at 6 o'clock, and that's Eastern Standard Time. So again, welcome. And again, my name is Laura Betts. I am an instructor trainer with Andy International. I'm also a certified hyperbaric chamber operator instructor and a certified hyperbaric chamber technician. I am the facility director here at Hyperbaric RX. And Hyperbaric RX, by the way, we are an Andy certified hyperbaric facility. And that's a really big deal. It's an extensive voluntary accreditation process. And one of the biggest things it means we have a lot more information. Many people that are excited about hyperbaric oxygen therapy are very well intentioned. But where are they getting this information from? A lot of this isn't being taught in medical schools. Where are these protocols coming from? Are they making them up? Are they using any protocols at all? So we're really proud of our Andy membership and our fact that we are an Andy certified hyperbaric facility. And one of the big things it means that we have protocols, and it means our staff are trained and certified. In addition to being an instructor trainer with Andy International and the facility director here, this is something that I founded Hyperbaric RX out of my own personal experiences with hyperbaric oxygen therapy. I was a mixed gas diving instructor for many years, and I actually have my own personal hyperbaric narrative. I ended up with a chronic health condition that was completely reversed because of hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And had I not been a diving instructor, I wouldn't have had access to it. Had I didn't been working in the diving industry, I'm not sure I would have been able to get that information the way I was. And that became the foundation of Hyperbaric RX. And I get to share the miracle that I experienced firsthand with all of my wonderful patients and clients every day. So really neat things that we get to do here. In addition to being facility director here, I do sit on a couple of medical boards, and Hyperbaric RX is a training and research facility, and I do sit on the Andy Diving and Medical Board, and I also sit on the medical board of the International Hyperbaric Medical Foundation. So I'm in getting a lot of information, a lot of research that's being published. We're actively researching. So I get to stay really current with many of the things that are happening in the industry. So again, I thank you so much for joining us. And again, our office, by the way, we are located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And we also do telehealth. We do hyperbaric consulting and nutritional consulting for people that are undergoing hyperbaric oxygen therapy all around the world. So if you're struggling with something, if you're dealing with a symptom, if you're just looking to optimize your health a little bit more, if you're interested in anti-aging, I encourage you to reach out and give us a call. So let's actually go ahead and start getting into tonight's topic. Our immune system is one of those things that we really do take for granted. It is constantly busy. It is constantly working. It's constantly doing, it's cleaning, it's scrubbing, it's cleaning out not just toxins that we're exposed to, but actually leftover waste. Our body, right? We eat food, we need to get rid of that, but that's not the only waste. Many of the cells in our body have a programmed lifespan. The fancy term for that is called apoptosis. And these cells die on a particular schedule. The body also makes a new one while that's going on. And that entire process is pretty much almost completely oxygen dependent. So it's a pretty neat thing. And again, this is November is all about gratitude, and I'm standing behind our front desk here, and you can see our gratitude leaves are really starting to fill up. We are running some November specials. And we do have posted, please check out our post on our harvest raffle. It's just a really neat, fun way to get some raffle tickets for some really cool things. We're doing some gift certificates, and we're doing some awesome product, and we're also doing some raffles for our detox foot baths, which are a really neat thing. Okay, so again, talking a little bit about our immune system. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is actually used to treat some very, very nasty infections. And one of the reasons why hyperbaric works so well is because it actually supercharges the immune system. It actually makes the soldiers, it makes them better hunters with bigger guns. The specific term, by the way, for those that may be a little bit more medical here, are white blood cells. They're also called leukocytes. And hyperbaric actually, it upregulates the leukocytes. It increases leukocyte activity. It makes our immune system stronger. It makes them better hunters. They are more effective at finding things that aren't supposed to be there. They can get to them quicker, and they are stronger at finding them. And essentially, it gives them bigger guns. So our leukocytes, when it runs up to a big guy, something that's not supposed to be there, it essentially creates this chemical reaction that kills it. And that chemical reaction is actually supercharged by hyperbaric oxygen therapy. So another neat thing is a lot of these bad guys are actually really unhappy around oxygen. In many cases, they're actually anaerobic types of bad guys, anaerobic bacteria, and that means that they don't like oxygen very much at all. So you get these overlapping mechanisms where the soldiers are stronger and the environment is less hospitable for these bacteria, these anaerobes, these things that we don't want there in the first place. Now, an interesting thing about hyperbaric oxygen therapy is it only kills the bad guys. So unlike an antibiotic, which is really a nuclear option, if you're thinking about our immune system, which is actually located in our gut. And this, by the way, is one of the reasons why what we eat is so important to our immune health. Our immune system is physically in our gut. Gut bacteria and balance of gut bacteria is directly related to our immune function and health. And one of the things that happens when we take an antibiotic, and again, I use the term nuclear. Yes, it kills the bad guys, but it also kills a lot of good guys too. And this becomes really problematic because the antibiotic is actually damaging the immune system. It's actually killing good gut bacteria. And there's a balance here. Now, antibiotics are the foundation of modern medicine. They were one of the defining events in what we consider modern medicine. And this is certainly not an anti-antibiotic discussion. However, antibiotics are used very commonly. We have a lot of critters that are antibiotic resistant. And because many people have used antibiotics so often, they have chronic conditions as a result of their gut from not being able to recover. Essentially, there isn't enough good gut bacteria. And we actually work with a lot of people here. And the origin of their chronic condition, the beginning, one of the things that really led up to this is that the person started dealing with these ancillary infections, like, for example, a urinary tract infection. So they have a UTI and they go and get a short course of antibiotics, and the gut destabilizes, and then they get another UTI. And again, not to say that we shouldn't be using antibiotics to treat things, but the problem is the antibiotics aren't being very effective at killing the bad stuff. And this continued use of these antibiotics ultimately does not accomplish the long-term goal. And the person ends up, for example, a lot of factors that play into this. This isn't the only piece here, but essentially over the course, and this little perfect storm actually creates urinary tract, actually creates an immune issue. And now the person is dealing with a chronic immune disorder, and the immune system is not able to handle its day-to-day function of cleaning and scrubbing and getting all the bad stuff out of our body. And it's not able to handle invaders and exposure. And we have a tremendous amount of exposure to environmental toxins, environmental pathogens. So these antibiotics become problematic. Now, one of the things, some of these critters are really antibiotic resistant, and they can hide out in areas of the body that are very difficult to get antibiotics to. So this is an area where hyperbaric is really able to shine, because the oxygen is able to go everywhere in the body all at the same time, except for very, very dense bone. So we're getting the fish in the desert response. We're creating an inhospitable environment for this bacteria, for these critters that aren't supposed to be there, that aren't helpful. And at the same time, we're making the soldiers better hunters with bigger guns so they can get these bad guys out. And unlike an antibiotic, which can't be used prophylactically, hyperbaric is broad spectrum and doesn't hurt good stuff. So I'll say that again. If I said, hey, I'm feeling sick and I'd like to take some antibiotic just preventatively, you can't do that. Part of the reason is because that antibiotic is going to hurt bad stuff too. It's not a neutral. So they need to be used somewhat discriminately. And part of the reason why some of the antibiotic issues and some of the bacteria, the antibiotic resistant bacteria exists is just because of that. There's antibiotics in our food. So this is an issue. We have small exposure, so that when we need antibiotics, our immune system is actually not where it's supposed to be, because we've actually had some ancillary exposure from the antibiotics in the food that we're eating, and that's caused a problem there. Now, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, unlike an antibiotic that has to be specifically typed for the type of bacteria. You can't just use any antibiotic for any bacteria. They need to be typed. You have to use the right kill for the right bad guy. Not everyone is as susceptible to every antibiotic mechanism. Well, hyperbaric is a broad spectrum bactericide. In fact, even stuff that's aerotolerant. Aerotolerant means they could take it or leave it. They can pretty handle it. Even stuff that's aerotolerant ultimately is affected by hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And this is one of the reasons why we use it in some of the nastiest infections. Necrotizing fasciitis, flesh-eating bacteria. It is one of the most aggressive infections known. Flesh-eating bacteria can actually eat about 10% of the wound site. You can physically see the wound growing, the bacteria actually proliferating with the naked eye. So hyperbaric is used very aggressively. In these cases, it's actually used in combination with antibiotics, and we're able to eradicate these serious infections. And the reason why those mechanisms work for the nasty stuff, well, it works for stuff that's not so nasty too. So this is a really neat option. Now, I was talking a little bit before about how you couldn't use an antibiotic prophylactically. You couldn't say, hey, I'm worried about getting something. Can I take an antibiotic preventatively? No, that would actually be harmful. But hyperbaric only kills bad stuff. And this is one of the reasons why, even when someone's doing hyperbaric for something else, we don't have to worry about it harming good gut bacteria. Fascinating, the good gut bacteria undergoing hyperbaric oxygen therapy is a neutral. It doesn't bloom, it doesn't die. It's an absolute neutral. And it's really fascinating because a lot of the negative gut bacteria, they're cousins, they're in the same family. So there's a lot more to the chemistry than is fully understood right now. So this is one of the neat things, the fact that we have this neutral, the fact that it doesn't harm good gut bacteria, that it doesn't actually harm the immune system. So when someone's doing hyperbaric for one reason, they may very well be preventing something. And of course, it's hard to say, right? If we didn't get it, how do we know it happened? But talking from some of my personal experiences, I very rarely experience any type of illness, any type of flu, any type of cold. And when I travel, which is for me, if I'm going to get sick, that's pretty much between the stress of the travel and the immune system. So for me, it's really important that I do hyperbaric oxygen therapy before my trip. And it's really important to me that I do hyperbaric oxygen therapy for the 2 days after I get back from my trip. I actually do it day I get back and then the day after. And that works really well for me. And I don't like to get sick. Now, another neat thing is to think about our immune system a little bit more like terrain as opposed to a specific germ. One of the things that's coming out more and more in research is it's really terrain theory, not germ theory. Well, what does that mean? Well, it's not this specific bug or that specific bug that's bad. It's actually the balance. It's the ecosystem. It's the gut terrain and the balance of the different organisms. And very often when someone is dealing with something like candida, when someone is dealing with something like chronic issues, there is a lack of balance. So being able to use hyperbaric oxygen therapy as an effective tool to eradicate nasty infections and at the same time maintain balance without shifting the gut balance is a pretty neat thing about it. Another point that some people may not fully be aware, so hyperbaric oxygen therapy is produced, serotonin is produced in our gut. So serotonin, a feel-good hormone, and serotonin is actually produced in the gut. So when our gut bacteria is off, our mood can really be off. Serotonin is feel-good hormones, And hormones affect focus. They affect all sorts of sleep cycles, and hormones are sending signals to the body to do different types of things all the time. When our hormones are out of balance, we really feel it. So one of the first things that we see when people do is sometimes even the first hyperbaric session, because hyperbaric does such a good job of knocking out bad gut bacteria, supporting positive immune function, we get this neat little secondary benefit that it regulates serotonin and dopamine. So people feel really calm after a hyperbaric session. They feel really clear after a hyperbaric session. And that's just a neat little side effect, positive side effect of some of the balancing and regulatory mechanisms. Now, again, our immune system is in our gut. So this goes back to what we eat having a direct result on how we feel. And very often, people are dealing with issues because of lack of nutrients and the chemicals and antibiotics in the food and pesticides in the food are actually harming positive gut bacteria. So hyperbaric can help our immune system stay functional. Hyperbaric can help support our immune system without hurting our immune system. And again, our immune system is really something that we tend to take for granted. We don't realize how hard it is working all the time. Even if we're not sick, it's constantly cleaning and scrubbing. It's constantly, the janitors are getting all the bad stuff out. And we want to love our immune system. We want to take good care of our immune system. And oxygen is very, very important to our immune health. Another little piece about our immune system is our immune function is driven by the mitochondria. So the mitochondria, they're the engines in the cell. And the energy, by the way, that essentially puts the gas in the engine, gives the cell the ability to have energy, is almost completely made of oxygen. It's not the only component, but it is the primary component. And if it isn't enough molecular oxygen available, the body can't even function here. So our immune system is directly related to our mitochondria. And very often, if the mitochondria are functioning properly, if the mitochondria have enough oxygen and they have enough of the other components and nutrients, then our immune system is stronger and it's able to do a better job. In fact, if the mitochondria was doing fine, in most cases, we wouldn't get sick at all. So there's an underlying cause of essentially the mitochondria not being happy that contributes to immune system downregulation, that contributes to our immune system not being as effective as we would like it to be, or in the case of an actual immune disorder where the immune system has failed. So hyperbaric actually supercharges the mitochondria by making oxygen available. And hyperbaric also has the ability to repair mitochondria. So again, from a foundational perspective, from a foundational health perspective, it's actually getting to the root causes of the issue, and it's supporting the body while eradicating the infection and not doing any negatives. It's not harming the immune system. It's not killing any killing good gut bacteria. People undergoing courses of antibiotics, because you'll hear where they get TMI, where essentially it's not uncommon to have very serious diarrhea. Now, this is again because the gut is out of balance and the body is trying to rebalance things. It's not right. So diarrhea is actually a very extreme reaction, and the body is like, okay, just let's see what we can do here. And it's engaging emergency mechanisms to try and address what's happening. So hyperbaric Unlike on antibiotics, where you can get that effect from the negative gut bacteria, from the die-off from the gut bacteria, that doesn't happen. And if you actually support the gut with some positive whole food targeted nutrition, it's in specific to the individual, you can even further supercharge the immune system and get even more synergy in the body's natural healing mechanisms. So next time you wake up and you take a breath and you feel really, really good, well, you have your immune system to thank for that. It was really, really busy overnight, getting things in place, cleaning things up, getting rid of stuff. So I hope this information was something that maybe give you a little bit new perspective. I hope I shared some things about the modality that you may not have heard before. And of course, again, this is our second part in our Thankfulness series. We'll be talking about major systems of our body. So we do this again every Monday at 6 o'clock. And I hope you come out and join us. Again, it's a great opportunity to ask questions real time in the chat with our natural health practitioners. You also get 2 raffle tickets for joining our Facebook Live. So I look forward to seeing you next week. And thank you again for joining me this evening. Of course, if you are struggling with symptoms or you just want to find a way to optimize your health, if you have a hyperbaric chamber system in your home and you're lost and you need some support and you're getting effect and symptoms and you don't understand what's happening, maybe you're working with a new practitioner that doesn't have 30 years of hyperbaric medicine, please reach out to us. Our number at the office is 954-749-9998. We do telehealth programs as well as hyperbaric oxygen therapy here at our facility in Fort Lauderdale. And we look forward to helping you feel better. So again, thank you so much for joining me this evening. Again, my name is Laura Betts, and I look forward to seeing you on our next Facebook Live next week. Thank you.